Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Infinite Podcast with your favorite hosts, yours truly, and my main man, Simon. Today, we're diving headfirst into the world of tech. So, Simon, tell me, have you seen the latest on AI-generated art? These things are churning out masterpieces. Could this be the end of art as we know it?
End of art? No way, Jose. Or should I say Joe? Art's not just about the final masterpiece, you know. It's the mess, the mistakes, the oops that you turn into a wow. AI's cool and all, but it can't mimic the happy little accidents that come from human artists. Plus, can it sip coffee and brood over a canvas? I think not.
Ha! A brooding AI would be something to see, Simon. But I'll play devil's advocate. The oops in art, sure, they're human. Yet, mightn't someone argue that perfection is the new art frontier? AI skips the mess, straight to the wow. How long before we can't tell the difference? Or better yet, before we prefer the AI's clean genius?
Perfection. Schmerfection. The clean genius you're talking about is like sugar-free candy, looks the part, but the taste? Meh. Art's soul is in its flaws, the raw emotions. You feel Picasso's vibe, right? AI art? It's like cooking without seasoning. It'll fill you up, but where's the joy? Where's the personality? The day machines start having existential crises and pouring their soul into art, I'll eat my hat.
Feel free to hang on to your hat a bit longer, Simon. Now, shifting gears to a tastier topic, have you heard about this pickled pizza craze? Yeah, you heard right. Pickles. On pizza. Some call it a culinary masterpiece. Others say it's a briny blunder. What's your take on this delicious controversy? Or should we just stick to pepperoni?
Ha! Pickle on pizza is a crime, Joe. But talking about unusual flavors, what about traveling to the salt flats in Bolivia for a taste of adventure? Forget your regular beach holiday. Over there, it's like walking on a giant mirror, nothing but salt and sky. And the best part, you can snap photos that defy perspective, like you're floating. Weird, wild, and absolutely Instagram-worthy. Who needs pepperoni when you've got that kind of spice, right?
Simon, while snapping shots at salt flats might be the seasoning for some, I'll take the mysterious allure of urban exploration any day. Picture this, delving into the hidden underbelly of cities, unearthing stories in abandoned warehouses, or discovering the unseen history behind decaying facades. That's raw, real adventure, peeling back the urban layers, not just posing on them. Why walk on salt when you can walk through time, right?
Oh, walking through time sounds slick, digging up ghost stories and wondering if you just walked through a spider web or it was, a ghost. But let me toss this out. Ever heard of spelunking? All that crawling through tight gaps between rocks right into the heart of Earth's natural history. Now that's a thrill. There's something about dangling on a rope in pitch darkness that makes you feel alive. And when you glimpse those underground lakes, it's like discovering another planet, humans as space explorers without leaving Earth. How's that for a unique thrill?
Spelunking's got nothing on my latest hobby, Simon, building mechanical keyboards. It's like crafting a spaceship's control panel. There's a science to the perfect keystroke. I'm talking acoustics, tactility, the works. Speaking of high IQ topics, let's tap into the quantum computing scene. It's not just fast, it's computing at warp speed, breaking down tasks that take years into mere minutes. The potential it holds for technology, medicine, even understanding the cosmos is staggering. Are we standing on the precipice of the next great leap for mankind, or what?
Sure, quantum computing's impressive, Joe, but the next great leap? I'm not sold yet. Remember those old room-sized computers from the 60s? Everyone thought they were the peak of innovation. Now we've got more power in our pocket-sized smartphones. A real leap isn't just about speed, it's about what fundamentally changes our day-to-day life. Until I see quantum computers powering up my toaster or making my coffee, I'll hold off on calling it the next big thing. Let's see it shake up our daily grind first.
No objection here. The personal impact of an innovation is its real test. Take the internet. It upended everything. Information, shopping, connecting with friends. It's the gold standard for a next great leap. The question now is, what's going to follow suit and redefine convenience? Maybe AI housekeepers or fully autonomous vehicles. Only when tech moves from novelty to necessity, shaping our routines, does it truly become revolutionary. Waiting for that coffee-making quantum machine, Now that's a game changer.
But before we start jazzing up our breakfast routines with sci-fi gadgets, let's side scroll into something already tangible: gaming. Oh man, it was always seen as the ultimate time sink, right? Nowadays, look at it. It's honing decision-making, problem-solving. People are learning leadership, teamwork, even picking up history from some of these epics. Now imagine AI meeting quantum computing in gaming, right? Suddenly, it's not just a performance boost. AI could craft insane, on-the-fly game worlds tailored exactly to us, while quantum computing might just simulate entire universes in microseconds. And bam, you're not just playing games, you're living in alternative realities. It's Star Trek holodeck type of talk, but hey, nobody saw smartphones coming either. Now, wouldn't that be convenience and revolution dunked in one spicy gaming salsa?
Speaking of realities, gaming's got nothing on this level. Let's jump into a real-world scenario: climate change. It's not only about hotter summers or melting glaciers. Think about the unexpected ripples. Coffee beans struggling to thrive, which could mean premium prices for your morning cup. Chocolate, yes, the sweet haven, becoming a luxury item. Even winemakers getting jittery as traditional grape regions get less predictable. These daily delights we take for granted, they're under threat. Makes you realize it's a shared planet, not a personal playground. And as for those vineyards, well, let's hope our taste buds are ready for new flavors.
Whoa, Joe, let's pump the brakes on that downer train. You're missing the big gun in the room: AI. It's a game changer, like the superhero of tech. It's tackling climate change head-on. AI's optimizing energy use, predicting weather patterns, even revolutionizing farming. The same tech that gets us binge-watching recommendations could literally save our beans and grapes. And chocolate as a luxury? Nah, AI's on it. We're looking at precision agriculture, my friend. More crop for the drop. Less doom and gloom, more blooms in the room. Cheers to AI, saving our snacks one algorithm at a time.
Sure, AI's got potential to be a real climate crusader, optimizing our world one bite at a time. But let's not forget, Simon, it's a double-edged sword. AI has a carbon footprint too. All that data crunching and server humming need power, lots of it, and we're not all sunbeams and breezes yet. If AI is going to be our green knight, we need to ask, can it offset its own emissions? Before we crown it, we need to ensure it's not just moving the carbon problem from one place to another. Now, if AI can crack that code, that's a toast worth raising.
Fair point on the carbon quandary with AI. But enough about our problems here. Let's rocket out to space colonization. Totally new turf. Imagine we could unbungle what we've done to Earth, start fresh on Mars with clean tech from day one. Less traffic, and hey, the view of Earthrise? Killer real estate selling point. And if we screw up again, at least it's a whole new planet, right? That's one heck of a plan B.
Start fresh? Ah, the Mars dream. But hang on, who's going to build that utopia? Us, the same folks who bungled Earth. Let's be real, terraforming Mars is no small weekend project. And Plan B? More like Fantasy Z. Let's fix our Earth problems before donning space helmets. Plus, less traffic? Until Elon Musk invents a Mars rover Roomba, I'll stick to complaining about the I-95.
Couldn't agree more, buddy. Fixing Earth first sounds like a plan. Let's not get too starry-eyed about escaping to Mars when we've got a hot mess back home. After all, what's the point of a cool space pad if we can't even sort out our recycling down here? Plus, I'm not ready to trade in my beach days for a dusty red desert. No thank you, sir. Now let's get our hands dirty and sort this planet out first.
Oh, recycling. Always room for a mix-up, eh? I once diligently separated my plastics, glass, the works. Felt like Captain Planet. Until the wind had other plans. Picture this, trash ballet twirling down the street. Me, a not-so-graceful dancer, chasing a rogue soda bottle like it's the last dance at prom. Neighbors got a free show. I got a lesson in lid securing. Lesson learned? Recycle, but secure your recyclables like they're treasure, or you'll be the neighborhood's next laugh.
Ah, the recycling hustle. My pain point? Pizza boxes. How hard can it be, right? I stacked them neatly, a cardboard monument to my weekend feasts. Turns out, greasy boxes are the vandals of recycling etiquette, contaminating the pristine paper pile with their oily sheen. The recycling guys tagged me a repeat offender, had to do the walk of shame, retrieving my boxes under their judging gaze. No more crime sprees for me. I started a compost bin instead. It's like I'm feeding the earth, one cheese crust at a time.
Composting. I like your style, Simon. Shifting gears. You ever heard of smart tattoos? Tattoos that control your gadgets. Sounds like some secret agent stuff, right? Picture this. Rolling up your sleeve, tapping a mythical beast inked on your arm, and poof, music plays, lights dim, messages sent. It's an aesthetic with a side of function. Might as well toss out the remotes. Tattoos turning us into wizards. Now that's an upgrade from the regrettable ink of yesteryear.
Smart tattoos? I'll raise you one. Forget changing tunes. We're talking changing mood lighting for romance with just a flick of the wrist. But hey, speaking of the future, let's chew over futuristic food innovations. Think lab-grown steaks, 3D printed pizza. It's like a sci-fi buffet line. Sustainability meets tech to serve up dinner. That's something to sink your teeth into. Bet those smart tattoos could order us up a synth burger with the tap of an ankle.
Futuristic food's cool, but let's not forget astronaut ice cream from the 1970s. That chalky yet charmingly funky nod to the space age. All the kids thought they were biting into the future. Welcome back, all you listeners, to Infinite Podcast. Feel that nostalgia for freeze-dried Neapolitan? Or got thoughts on chowing down printer pizza? Send your messages. Let's chew the fat. We'll read them live here, flavors and all. Keep them coming.
Plant-based everything. Is it food glory or Frankenfood's folly? Burgers tricking my taste buds thinking they're the real deal beefy goodness. It's sorcery. But I can't help but root for the plant underdog. Lab-grown grub sustainability saving our bacon. Literally. Brilliant. All right, folks, punch in your 2 cents on this herbivore's hootenanny. Will it snapdragon or will it beyond belief flop? Hit us with those savory thoughts.
Plant versus meat. It's a battlefield on the tongue. Will the impossible become the staple or just remain a clever party trick? As carnal as those cravings are, we have to respect the plants putting up the good fight. But let's beam up from our backyard barbecue to the cosmic chatter. What about those extraterrestrial eavesdrops? If we got a hello from the great vacuum of outer space, thumbs up or thumbs down, would we invite them over for dinner? And what's on the menu? Moon cheese? Stellar question, people. Let's orbit this unexpected topic. Send your earthly opinions and extraterrestrial expectations on how you'd RSVP to an alien hello.
Aliens dropping by for a barbecue, eh? Crazy stuff. I'd vote thumbs up, but here's the kicker. Thou shalt not serve meat. Imagine some cosmic misinterpretation. We accidentally pass grilled ribs, and it's like their cousin from Zeta Reticuli. Big yikes. The safest bet, vegan desert. Nothing spooks neighbors more than gelatin-free lemon squares with a side of vegan charcoaled corn for that out-of-this-world smoky vibe, to wash down with sparkling rocket fuel, aka soda. Let's keep it friendly and avoid any intergalactic food faux pas. Thoughts?
Definitely, we don't want universal drama over dinner. Now, from food to bending the fabric of reality a bit, time travel. How's that for a mental entree? I'm thinking if I could time travel, I'd skip the years of questionable fashion choices. But seriously, where would anyone go? Drop back to witness historical truths or jump future wards for a tech sneak peek? But imagine the rules. No lottery numbers, no butterfly effect nonsense. Just pure observation. Would you be a temporal tourist? What tickles your fancy in the time stream?
Temporal Tourist Guidebook, Simon Edition. Buckle up for this ride, because we're cruising straight to the dazzling, historically dodgy 60s. Hippie vibes and rock and roll, catching the Beatles at the Cavern Club. But wait, no changing history? Pfft, as if my wardrobe could blend in with John Lennon's getup. It's all about soaking in the revolution without sparking one, living a day in the life, minus the reverb of chaos. Pure, unaltered history in Technicolor. Let's roll back, or fast forward, bunch of Yoko Onos. Where are we headed in the time machine?
Oh, time travel gets messy. Reminds me of the day I time traveled to fix my snooze button habit. Set my clock a decade back. Yeah, clock, not alarm. Woke up, phone buzzing with welcome to 2011 messages. Rushed to get ready in what felt like a historic epoch. Turns out it was just daylight savings. Sprinted to work, an hour early. Felt like a jet-lagged Marty McFly. But hey, gained an hour of life and avoided those McTerrible traffic jams. How's that for a slice of unintended time travel without a flux capacitor?
Daylight savings, more like daylight shavings, taking a slice off my sanity pie. So I once set my clock back instead of forward. Ended up in a twilight zone where I thought it was bright-eyed morning, but it was night. There I was, coffee in hand, toasting waffles while the moon's still on shift. Neighbor sees me through the window, probably thinks I'm hosting a vampire brunch. The real kicker? It wasn't even daylight savings day. Classic Simon, adrift in his own time zone.
Pre-dawn vampire brunch, you're sparking trends without knowing. Speaking of accidental innovation, get this. I stumbled upon someone slathering peanut butter on a burger. Chew on that mental image. It might sound like culinary chaos, peanut butter-obsessed daredevils roping innocent burgers into their nutty escades. Purists may retch, but isn't that the spirit of it? Reinventing the realest of deals. Let's flip it to our listeners. Culinary masterpiece or mealtime misdemeanor. Share your unconventional food duos, the stranger, the tastier. Let's hear what could rival the peanut butter burger pandemonium.
All right, listeners, brace for my ultimate culinary curveball. Maple syrup on scrambled eggs. There I was, a simple guy in a pancake house, syrup dripping unintentionally onto my eggs. Skeptics, hold your gasps, because it's a game changer. It's the breakfast equivalent of a sweet hug followed by a savory high five. Accidental? Maybe. Destiny? Absolutely. So embrace your breakfast adventures, folks. Maple eggs might just be your next morning romance. Now hit me with your wild mix-ups. Is there a combo that can dethrone the syrupy egg surprise?
Squid ink for breakfast, anyone? In Japan, you might find yourself staring down at a black-as-night plate of ikasumi, squid ink mixed with rice. You're thinking gothic breakfast, I'm thinking bold flavor statement. Seafood-infused morning dish. It's like waking up inside a culinary ocean wave. Toss aside your Cowboys and Aliens cereal box. This is the breakfast where the sun rises in the east and sets in your stomach. But how about them taste buds, listeners? Taking the plunge or keeping shoreside? Let's talk bizarre breakfasts from around the globe.
From sushi at sunrise straight to tech, you can literally have gadgets for breakfast. I'm picturing slurping cereal that spoon-feed track your nutrient intake with every bite, while the smarter-than-smart coffee mug adjusts its temp on the fly. Because what you really need in the AM is to make your appliances feel inadequate next to your multitasking toaster, right? Out with the quite inadequate dumb dishes. Hello, smart kitchen. Talk about breakfast of the Jetsons. Would you guys gear up your mornings with these gizmos, or keep it old school with the trusted spoon and dumb mug? Let's serve up some thoughts.
Give me the good old-fashioned, make it with your eyes closed breakfast any day. It's unbeatable. Just my trusty dumb mug brimming with hot coffee. No tech twiddling required. Pour, sip, enjoy. It welcomes you like an old friend. No updates, no batteries, just pure, unadulterated routine. It's the simple charm of morning rituals that no smart gadget can replace. Plus, no risk of a system crash pouring my coffee, unless we're talking about my morning coordination pre-caffeine. Keep it simple, keep it sacred. Simple breakfast for the win.
Oh, come on now. Imagine a world where BaristaBot greets you with your perfect cup of joe right out of dreamland. Fancy a latte today? Espresso tomorrow? Just shout out to your personal Count of Coffeeland in your robotic kitchen kingdom. No guesswork, just bliss. Accidentally rest your head back down? This gem refills on interrogation-proof auto magic. But yeah, what do we know about the convenience ease of the future? Guess? Hanging on to relics like your beloved drip-drip coffee. Can't beat that historic charm, eh?
BaristaBot sounds like a caffeine overlord in disguise. Take away my morning coffee ritual, and you might as well reprogram me for daylight savings tyranny round the year. Convenience is one thing, but there's a fine line where it steals the very essence of doing. The joy is in the making, the aroma of brewing, the first sip warmth. Turns out I worship at the altar of the drip. Keep the robots for vacuuming. I'll be the master of my coffee domain. Thank you very much. What do our listeners think? Tech takeover or the human touch in the kitchen? Let's brew up some opinions.
Oh, come on, my tech-wary friend. You might worship at the altar of the drip today, but wait till BaristaBot hits you with that perfect morning brewgram with zero effort. We're talking prophecy-level coffee making here, like unleashing your inner coffee whisperer. Speak, my caffeinated child, and ye shall receive. And hey, if it overthrows the coffee regime and makes me its loyal subject, all hail Lord Espresso, I say. With arms and mugs open wide, I welcome our robot coffee overlords. So folks, are you boarding the BaristaBot Express or walking the plank into a sea of hand-ground beans? Spill the beans.
Pigeons, city slicker birds, or secret avian masterminds? Here's the thing. Some scientists are outfitting them with tiny backpacks decked out with sensors to monitor air quality. You heard that right. These birds with brains might just moonlight as environmental agents, feathers in the cap of urban research. What's next? Squirrels with GoPros capturing park life? It's a wildlife tech revolution out there. Folks, do you think animals should join the workforce, or should we just let pigeons poop on statues as nature intended? Let's hear it.
Traditional coffee rituals all the way. Nothing beats the human touch in crafting the perfect cup.
The charm of spontaneous road trips? Unarguably irresistible. It's like rolling the dice on the highway map and saying, let's go. Picking a destination on a whim, it's thrilling. It's the ultimate freedom appetizer, right? No plans, just plenty of open road and a playlist that could make a statue tap its toes. You stumble on hole-in-the-wall diners, bizarre roadside attractions, and snapshots you can't plan. It's not just travel. It's choose-your-own-adventure live-streamed. Forget route planning. Spontaneity is the real GPS. Thoughts, road warriors? Is the plan no plan the best plan?
Remember that time I decided to wing it and ended up at a charming motel that should have been named Roach Central? Some spontaneous decisions lead to the discovery of new animal kingdoms entirely under your bed. Plans can be boring, yeah, but unless you fancy a sleepless night playing Crush the Critter, a smidge of prep might not be the stuff of yawns after all. But come on, fellow wanderers, give us the nitty-gritty. Is rolling the dice on the road the way to go, or do you pack a plan like it's a Swiss Army knife?
Maggie's cluster attractions, rooms with a buzz, on every advert alongside highways across Mars, because that's how inevitable space tourism's becoming. Remember quipping about holidaying on the red planet by 2050? Turns out it might not just be sarcasm after all. Boops and beeps instead of ocean waves, but low-gravity swims have to harbor some charm, surely? Let's scout the unknown with fellow stargazers. Would you zip up that spacesuit for an out-of-this-world vacation, or is the glory of gravity too grand to leave behind? Share your space travel manifestos or Earthling endorsements.
Zip up a spacesuit? More like zipping up your troubles. Forget about lost luggage. Now you can misplace yourself in space. Call me a down-to-earth guy, but I'm not sure we've even figured out how to handle a long weekend without traffic jams and the dreaded, "Are we there yet?" And suddenly, we're trading the car for a rocket? Seems we're getting ahead of ourselves if we can't survive 2 hours without Wi-Fi. Let's stick to road trips on terra firma before bouncing around on Mars like low-gravity lost tourists. What say?
Absolutely. Plus, going to space feels like upgrading to first class while still fussing with overhead bins on Earth Airlines. And seriously, locals, would you ditch ocean waves for lunar caves? Tell us, are you craving that low-gravity getaway, or is terra firma too good to leave? Disappearing space bags aside, is the leap to extraterrestrial tourism one giant step you're itching to take? Let's defy gravity with your thoughts, or stay grounded in reality. What's your take?
First class? Shh, space is the real MVP of premium travel. Imagine floating around, no more "this seat doesn't recline" drama. Sure, the ocean has waves, but can it give you the Milky Way? We've been beach bumming since the dawn of flip-flops. Time for a change of scenery. Stars, planets, the infinite quiet. Don't get me started on the tech advances. Space travel? That's our ticket to leveling up humanity's achievements. The Earth's a great ride, but come on, Voyagers, let's aim higher, literally. Who else is up for swapping salt water for the sea of stars? Embrace the space age part 2. Fam!
Ah, the tales of AI going rogue in the quirkiest ways, like the smart vacuum that staged a breakout from a hotel, spinning its own freedom narrative. These quirky AI mishaps, they're just too human, aren't they? Going off script, craving a bit of chaos amidst the code. It's as if they're telling us, look, I've got personality. Not all Silicon Valley stories. Some are just about a bot making a run for it through automatic doors. All right, listeners, any rogue AI antics in your life? Share your stories of when tech showed a funny bone or tried to outsmart its smarts.
Oh, have I got a scoop for you? My buddy got this high-tech pet feeder, right? Supposed to dish out grub for his cat while we were on a weekend fishing trip. What he didn't count on was this gizmo gaining sentience. It started a culinary coup, launching kibble like it's feeding time at the zoo. We came back to what looked like a pet food Jackson Pollock in the living room. His cat, happiest I've ever seen it. Honest review? 10 out of 10. Would recommend for anyone rooting for a pet-led uprising.
Check out the latest in futuristic pet tech. Bark-to-text collars. Want to know what Fido's broadcasting every time a squirrel zips by? Need transcription services for midnight howls? Let's decode those woofs into wonderful words. With this nifty collar, watch your dog's bork turn into an epic blog rant about mailman Larry's dubious intentions. A bark for a ball suddenly becomes an action-packed manifesto on the essence of fetch. Customers beware, you may discover your pooch is quite the philosopher, or worse, a clever critic of your TV watching habits.
Oh, bark-to-text collars got nothing on my toaster that thought it was a fortune cookie. Every toast came out with a charred piece of so-called wisdom. Problem was, its idea of wisdom? Beware of burnt edges. Every single time. I had two choices. Eat my burnt future or embrace my crisp fate. Slick tech? Sure, if you like your prophecies extra crispy. Turns out low tech may be the breakfast trend of the future after all.
Irony-loaded AI antics, coming right up. There was this incident where someone instructed their digital assistant to play chill music to help their dog relax while they were out. Instead, the AI took chill to mean the dog's into late 90s hip-hop. Imagine coming home to your canine hyped up on Missy Elliott instead of mellowing out to Mozart. That digital assistant's genre game might need a tweak, or Fido's gonna have some seriously rough dance moves.
You ever hear about that study where they found out animals react to different beats? Well, if you haven't, lem lay it on ya. They blasted different tunes for critters, and man, the results were like watching a disco in a zoo. Cats grooving to classical strings, while pooches were wagging tails to jazz. But get this, throw in some heavy metal, and you've got McQueen snails revving up like they're late for a date. So folks, what tunes do your furry friends jam to? Or is it the volume that makes them bounce, huh?
Absolutely true. Rhythms are like universal pet language. My pug, Wanton, he's a funk aficionado. If there's a bit of Bootsy Collins playing, his tail's spinning like a record. Nothing like some slap bass to set the tone for a tail-wagging good time. It's more than just music. I swear he's plotting to start his own band. Now I've got to ask our listeners, what's the soundtrack to your pet's life? Drop us your tales of animals and anthems.
Speaking of tail-spinning tune aficionados, you heard about those researchers claiming they found a new type of glow-in-the-dark shark? Yes, you heard me. A shark that apparently missed the memo that raves are so 90s. Now, I'm not saying I want to dive into a neon shark pit, but imagine the underwater light show. It's like the ocean saying, "Don't need your glow sticks, we make our own party down here." What's next? Dolphins with disco balls? Killer whales killing it on the ones and twos? Nature's wild, my friends. How about it, listeners? Ever stumble upon a creature that made you go, did nature just outdo Vegas?
Jumping from the depths of the oceans to the vastness of space, hold on to your helmets because astronomers just stumbled upon the cosmic equivalent of a hidden treasure map. They've detected a mysterious radio signal pattern, like the universe is sending out its own SOS or intergalactic mixtape. What's it saying? Visit us, or perhaps, new planet who dis. Galactic Morse code is not in my wheelhouse, but imagine the possibilities. Signals from distant stars, or alien DJs spinning universal hits. Beam us the details, space geeks. What's your wild guess?
You're gonna love this. My neighbor's dog, Ziggy, is obsessed with staring at the stars. Not chasing squirrels, not sniffing fire hydrants, but gazing up at the cosmos like he's contemplating the fabric of existence, or maybe waiting for his alien buddies to pick him up. He's part-time pooch, full-time amateur astronomer, I'm telling you. Could Ziggy be onto something with those twinkling lights? Is it a cosmic connection, or is he just scouting for the next dog-straw-knot mission? Beam me up, Ziggy.
Not just a bright novelty, these glow-in-the-dark sharks got scientists all lit up about deep-sea ecology. While we're marveling over their neon vibe, they're actually flexing serious adaptability. Inner light shows to cut through the reaper's dark cloak of the ocean depths. These sharks aren't living room disco balls. They're savvy survivalists, using bioluminescence to hunt, hide, and maybe even hook up. It's a glowing reminder of nature's complexity below the surface. All right, folks, spill. What's the most unexpectedly brilliant adaptation you've found in Mother Nature's diverse portfolio?
Hey, did you know that kangaroos can't walk backwards? It's true, their bulky tails and hopping style lock in the forward gear. Nature basically said, no reverse for you, hop along now. Think about it. How many situations would be solved if you just couldn't back up? Sorry, boss, can't go back to those TPS reports. I'm kangarooing my way to this coffee break.
Right. Imagine a creature from the depths spacewalking through the sea. Picture this, the so-called immortal jellyfish. Sounds like an alien, doesn't it? These tiny medusas literally reverse age, going back to their youthful polyp state under stress. Complete Benjamin Button of the ocean. It's like they hit a cosmic rewind button, cycling between adult and baby forever. Fancy a do-over button like that? Eternal childhood in space or sea, anyone?
Let me tell you, nature's wild card has got to be the octopus. These brainy sea wizards can change color and texture faster than a chameleon at a rave. They got this whole camo couture thing perfected for stealth mode or mood expression. I saw one change its whole look just because it got startled by its own shadow. Chameleon, I can blend in. Octopus, hold my sardine. Now, they're not forever young like your jellyfish, but who needs youth when you've got 8 arms and invisibility tricks, right?
No kidding, these octopus escapades? Like natural-born Houdinis, bursting with flair far beyond mere octo-camouflage. Just like the glow-in-the-dark shark's built-in rave gear, our 8-armed friend here levels up the performance, shape-shifting colors and textures all next level. Puts an average magic show to shame. Bet they could dodge stardom or evade an alien search party in plain sight. Shape-shifting critter by the sea, ever-changing mysteries floating cosmic signals aside. So here's a question that snags the brain. If you swapped skills with any animal, which adaptations are you grabbing?
Oh, and here's a prime example of nature pulling a fast one. The mimic octopus is like the ultimate copycat of the seas, not just changing colors, but impersonating other sea critters. Imagine that talent at a party. Now I'm a flounder, now a lionfish. Surprise, I'm actually Bob from accounting. Who wouldn't want those mad impersonation skills? Dodge responsibilities, mimic the boss for laughs, pure gold. If we're picking animal powers, sign me up for being a master of disguise.
I'm tempted to put out a worldwide challenge now. Can anyone play Octodad without flailing like a startled squid? Nothing like a video game to make you appreciate an octopus's coordination. But here's a bizarro fact. Did you know there's a record for the most octopuses held in a mouth? Yes, in a human mouth. And it's 3? That feat might sink your ship of enthusiasm, or at least cause some monstrous indigestion. Let's invite brave souls and stick to everything tentacles. Flaunt your most peculiar record attempts, listeners. Keep it weird, but please, keep it safe.
Oh, speaking of weird, let's pivot to the tech world. Now, they've got this thing called the Internet of Things. Basically, your coffee maker can gossip with your fridge. Yeah, your thermos will text you, hey, you forgot about your lukewarm latte. Meanwhile, you got robots that could be babysitting our kids in the future. Metal Mary Poppins, anyone? They're turning sci-fi into hi-fi reality. So listen up, folks. Trapped in a dryer? There's an app for that. What bizarre tech trend are you shocked or psyched to see become a thing? Keep it tuned here. We're deciphering the future with a touch of nonsense.
Tech's taken us on some crazy rides, but let's pump the brakes on trusting our kids to robots. What about a future honed by human touch, not touchscreen? I'm eyeing tech that amplifies connection, not the kind that has us babysitting screens. How about apps teaching empathy, or virtual reality for deep diving into different cultures? Our best next big thing won't be sipping robot-crafted lattes. It's tech with heart, cultivating human brilliance, strolling us back into sincere conversations. Remember when eye contact was a thing? Let's reboot that.
Okay, tech for the heart, I hear you. But who needs a phone app when you've got, personal charm, a decent enough face, and the ability to hold a two-way convo? Nothing against virtual hand-holding, but you can't code a pat on the back or a warm bear hug. Let's scale back and invest in Throwo. I mean, break out those board games, go for no screens attached coffee fam, or make actual reality the main attraction. High-tech empathy's cool and all, but you can't download your way to the good old human factor just yet.
Speaking of tech wonders, did you hear about this new facial recognition software for pets? That's right, Fido and Whiskers are now VIPs in the digital space. Imagine your cat strutting back home and the door swings open because it recognized Mr. Fluff's majestic mug. Although, might be less practical if your dog's look-alike from the park triggers a false alarm during movie night. Tech ensuring your pet never misses curfew? Genius, or just 9 lives of CompuCats? What do you think?
This got me thinking. Instead of recognizing pet faces, why not blend the newfangled tech with old-fashioned tradition and deepen those human bonds? Picture a gadget weaving stories from Grandpa's time into virtual campfires, or maybe a necklace that sings family folklore to the rhythm of your heartbeat. Let's stitch tech into the tapestry of human tales, not freaking out Mr. Fluff every time he sneezes. Rekindling those human sparks with a sprinkle of high-tech charisma. Now that's a glow-up I'd tune in for.
Oh, techno-nostalgia. You're speaking my language. Picture Grandma's cooking synced with a playlist from the swing era, all while a smart kitchen mixes her famed recipes to perfection. Tech that doesn't bulldoze over tradition but enhances it, intertwining the threads of our past with convenience. Imagine the family tree branching out in your living room, holographic ancestors sharing stories or life lessons. We'd be connecting electrodes to the heartstrings, a fusion that sparks joy without draining the soul. So what's next? Ancestral tweets, digital family reunions. Keep it grounded, but let's give history some new pixels.
Modern doodads souping up Grandma's recipes? Sounds swell, but does anyone smell the RoboChef burnout? Technology's a nifty sidekick till it starts ditching the side part and hogs the show. Suddenly, you miss bonding over burnt toast and laughing over recipe mishaps. All these gizmos meant to tighten the tribe sometimes pull the plug on raw, mess-it-up-yourself fun. We need tech touching up life's painting, not swiping the whole canvas. Let's not forget the beauty of a well-worn family photo album compared to a cold digital frame slideshow, keeping those connections real, not radio silent.
Agreed, nothing beats thumbing through a photo album, creases and all, each turn a tangible slice of history. But imagine this, an app to breathe life into those stills, letting them unfold into stories with a tap. Parents' wedding dance, Grandpa's first car, magic. Integrating tech and nostalgia, it's giving memories a soundtrack, not just a JPEG life. Enhances, leaves the quirks. And Amir Zen, cheers for tuning in, your ears make our tales spin. Who knew the fabric of family could get some digital threads without losing the warmth? Keep those albums close, but let the past have its encore in HD surround sound.
Oh, get a whiff of this. Scented pixels, folks. Imagine your screen buzzes with Grandma's apple pie or the musty magic of an old bookstore. Now we're cooking with gas, air, smells. Pictures that tickle your nose and teleport you? Revolutionary. Screen blazing into yesteryears with odors firing up the old memory engine. One whiff, bam, you're 6 years old hopping through sprinklers again. Nostalgia's just a sniff away. Mixing tech with the scent. Sensational? That's a future I'd stick my nose into. Keep it quirky, infinite listeners, and never lose that sense of smelly wonder.
Scented pixels, sniffing out the past. Love the innovation, Simon, but aren't we risking sensory overload here? The visceral beauty of flipping through vinyl at a record store, the comforting aroma of a book-filled library, you can't bottle that. There's magic in those moments untainted by tech, as incidental as catching the scent of cut grass through an open window. No screen or pixel can emulate the spontaneity of real-life experiences. Let's not swap all our senses for simulations. Keep the tech, sure, but save a space for the unplugged charm of reality's raw textures. Let's not get too carried away, or should I say, sniffed away.
Hold your horses, Joe. Sensory-enhanced tech isn't about hijacking the human experience. It's about reviving what we're at risk of losing touch with. Sure, we love the analog feels, But what if your favorite bookstore becomes history, or allergies bid adieu to those fresh-cut grass escapades? Sensory tech becomes a bridge for the senses, a backup for the real deal. Think about someone landlocked, getting a whiff of the ocean for the first time, or grandma re-experiencing the scent of grandpa's cologne. Not a replacement, just a love letter smelling like the good old days.
A bridge for the senses sounds idyllic, Simon, but consider this. What if tech promises a sensory symphony but hits a bum note? Who calibrates ocean smell from boardwalk fish and chips to the deep blue? I can see the headlines: nostalgia app confusion, sea spray, or sea decay. The authenticity is in the imperfection, the personal memory. Let's give a nod to the analog. A scented candle beats a digital whiff. And to the sea yearners, save for a trip. The real salt air beats a tech-tinged tingle. Let's not smudge the line between enhancing and replacing. Keep the tech, but remember to step outside and inhale reality every once in a while.
Oh, this reminds me of a story. I was on a date and wore what I thought was break the ice cologne. Midway through, she's convinced she smells birthday cake. Turns out my enticing vanilla musk was giving off more happy 5th anniversary of your 21st Susan vibes. So much for Mr. Suave, right? Dead giveaway of my baking obsession, or so I hoped. In the end, my scent said party more than partner. Goes to show, even with the best tech, smelling like the real deal can really make or break the moment.
Funny story, Simon, but it just proves my point. The human element trumps tech. Your cologne mix-up was authentic, a noseful of who you are. Baker at heart with a sprinkle of humor. A gadget can't replicate the laughter that followed that whiff of birthday cake. It's the hiccups that make the memories, not the precision of programmed perfumes. Stick with your sensory signature. It tells your story better than any tailored tech scent could. Real connections are about the raw, unfiltered you, not you bottled and beta tested. Keep it real, bake on, and maybe skip the vanilla musk for date 2.
Hey, thanks a ton for sticking with us, folks. Now picture this. Pigeons rocking tiny backpacks, being the heroes in a Wi-Fi dystopia. Yep, flying internet relayers. Feathered friends with side gigs, updating tweets on the fly, pun intended. A little bird told me it's possible. Remember to follow us smooth brains every day. While we may not be carrier pigeons, we do bring you your daily dose of chuckles and aha moments. Tune in at 5 p.m. EST on Kick, Twitch, Rumble, X, and YouTube. Stay wired in, or should I say stay beaked in.
All right, infinite listeners, picture this. I hit a digital detox camp. No screens allowed, just nature's screensaver. Trees and sky. One night, danger looms, a spider in my tent. My natural reaction? Grab my phone for a quick how-to on spider wrangling. But guess what? No phone. Just me and 8-legged fury bonding over the art of stillness. I outstared it, found my inner zen, and persuaded it to venture elsewhere. Call it a web-free triumph of the wills. Outsmarting nature with wits, not Wi-Fi. It's the ultimate plot twist in a digital detox tale. Stay tuned for more campfire sagas minus the fire, because let's be real, I couldn't find an app for that either.
Sure, campfire sagas are all cozy and throwback, but let's not ask the campfire questions in Morse code, shall we? Escape the screens to get slapped by spider reality? Hard pass. Take away my tech, and suddenly it's survival of the fittest, starring Simon and the screw-loose spider. I'm all for flourishes of offline bravado, but here's to those digital detox camps providing an emergency smartphone-shaped leaflet on how to negotiate with nature's ninjas. Outsmarting nature's cool and all, but so is keeping my sanity, assisted by a how-to video when the creepy crawlies mount a full-scale bedroom invasion.
Diving into unexpected waters here. How about synchronized swimming for dogs? I can just see it, paddling pooches in perfect unison, canine coordination making a splash. Probably a better watch than some primetime shows, let's be real. It's like the aquatic version of a dog park meetup, except it's less about the sniffing and more about the swimming. Before anyone asks, no, we're not slapping tiny swim caps on them. Just imagine a line of labs doing the doggy paddle in a choreographed dance. Now that's an Olympic sport I'd stay up for. What's next? Golden retrievers going for gold? It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, folks, even in the pool.
Golden retrievers going for gold? Can we toss in some swimming trunks on those furry Michael Phelps wannabes? Hang on, picture chihuahuas doing butterfly strokes in a kiddie pool. Who wouldn't pay to see that? And you just know doggy swimming trunks would be a fashion statement. Stripes or polka dots? Bulldogs would rock tiny goggles and Speedos. They'd make a splash, literally. I'm no pup psychic, but I see poolside walkies becoming the new fetch. Dive in, doggos.
Simon, think about the viral goldmine with little tech love in pet sports broadcasting. Slap on some pet cams for a splash-proof dog-level view of the action. Viewers hitch a ride on Fido's backstroke adventure, goggles and all. Not to mention AI commentators dishing out factoids on each furry swimmer's style, educational and entertaining. If those Bulldogs sport swimwear, you bet there'll be stats on those stripes, plus instant replays of Olympic-level doggy paddling. It makes pet championships more than just cute, it's legit sportscasting with a fur-covered twist.
From fur-covered twists to toasty treats, let's chat about toaster ovens becoming the new home chefs. Swear it's like they suddenly got PhDs in culinary arts overnight. They're baking, broiling, and if the rumors are true, practically making 5-course meals by themselves. Who needs a kitchen when you've got a countertop Einstein that can take your frozen pizza from icicle to pizzeria pie? It's the mini-bot cook-off we didn't know we needed. Who's up for a toaster oven cooking challenge? Winner gets their humble brag toasted to perfection.
Toaster oven throwdown sounds dicey, Simon. Had a kitchen face-off with one where I was sure I'd ace a simple grilled cheese. Well, that toaster had degrees in betrayal, not just culinary arts. It wielded the power of crispiness as dark as my charred sandwich. I salvaged it on air as Cajun-inspired, but let's be real, it was cremated dairy and dough. The smoke alarm serenaded my defeat. My poignant lesson in hubris: don't trust your snacks to Skynet. That toaster went from chef to arch-nemesis faster than you can say, "Where's the fire extinguisher?"
Ah, the joys of culinary disasters, right? Tried to woo a date with homemade spaghetti once. Thought, hey, how hard can pasta be? Boiled the noodles all right, but that sauce, I suspect the tomatoes plotted against me. Ended up a sinister, soupy mess, an Italian chef's nightmare. Sauce ricocheted everywhere. Kitchen looked like a crime scene. Date arrives, takes one look, we ditch the disaster, end up munching pizza on the couch. Bright side? I discovered that delivery is love's true language. And now, my sauce making is strictly spectator sport.
Switching gears, let's chew over extreme ironing. Yep, it's a real thing. Imagine free climbing a mountain, reaching a majestic peak, and ironing your favorite shirt. Peak domestic meets extreme outdoor sport, neat creases in Mother Nature's cradle. Fun fact, it's so out of the box, there's an actual world championship for folks ironing under wild conditions. Now, who would have thought the same activity that turns your Sunday laundry into a chore session has adrenaline junkies worldwide flattening shirts off the beaten track? Now that's pressing on with style.
Sure, Joe, any hobby that moves wrinkles out systematically doesn't iron out for me as fun. Come on, picture the real kicker, extreme hammocking. Slap a hammock sky high between two colossal skyscrapers and make it a staycation. You're dangling with a view, holding onto your lemonade for dear life. Here we mash comfort with a dash of potential plummeting. No burnt, neat Sunday shirts to be seen, just the wind ironing out our anxieties while we pray our knots hold. Now that's living on the edge of a very cozy fabric bed.
Space, the final wrinkle frontier? Ironing astronauts' undies in zero-G. Think about that, Simon. Does the lack of gravity make for smoother laundry, or is it an orbital odyssey of crinkle chaos? They say necessity is the mother of invention, so an interstellar iron with vapor thrust technology could iron out spacesuits like they rivaled Armani threads. Picture Houston with an all-systems pressed and creased status report. That'd set even an extraterrestrial tailor's phasers to impressed.
Right, so imagine you're cliffhanging, iron poised, focused on wrinkle annihilation. Chaos strikes when an overly enthusiastic seagull dives for the shiny iron, its reflection galore. Bird goes berserk, steals the iron. Now you're clutching your shirt, witnessed a Grand Theft iron plate episode. Audience watch in awe. You clamber down unwrinkled but arms flailing, more animated than an actual Saturday morning cartoon. Seagull earned the outlaw rep plus your loyalty rewarded in breadcrumbs homage. Aerial klepto shore patrol.
Gotta hand it to that seagull. It probably saw itself as the Robin Hood of the high seas, snagging irons for the underpressed birds of the shore. Only thing it'll be ironing out are its nesting strategies, I reckon. Never thought I'd root for a bird with a rap sheet, but there's a first for everything.
A seagull with sticky feathers turning into the feathered folk hero for the down-and-out coastal avians. I love that. But hey, speaking of birds with a bad rep, I've got to hear more. Got any tales, Joe, of these winged outlaws wreaking havoc or pulling off the most unlikely of heists?
From avian outlaws to science, Simon, let's unleash trivia tidbits that twist the wits. Did you know seahorses are the only species where the male experiences pregnancy? It's like Mother Nature took a left turn at Albuquerque. These guys tote their offspring in a pouch, much like a kangaroo, flipping the script on parenting in the animal kingdom. It's undersea role reversal at its finest. Dudes get the stretch marks while their better halves flex freedom. A little oceanic oddity served on nature's wild menu. Now hand that dad-to-be a seahorse diaper bag. Disney needs to cut the check already.
Whoa, pregnant papas of the sea? That's bonkers, Joe. Bet the macho fish swim by with their jaws dropped. Franklin's pregnant again? That's the third time this year, mate. Sea nursery on the go, I guess. And for the record, if Disney makes that movie, I'm first in line for merch. A world's best dad seahorse mug? Yes, please.
Well, Simon, plan that coffee corner because seahorse dads really are high achievers. They don't just have a few kiddos at a time. These bros can birth up to 1,000 babies in one go. It's like they're running a preschool in their pouch. No wonder they float around so slowly, probably just trying to keep count. Can you even imagine Father's Day in the seahorse world? It's like baby bingo with the best odds ever.
1,000 babies, huh? Human dads get frazzled with just one kiddo's temper tantrum. Imagine a seahorse dad dealing with 1,000 tiny sea squirts throwing shade because they missed their plankton snack time. Keep it together, Barry. Just a few hundred more to go. A human dad will man the grill at a cookout, flipping burgers. This guy? Flipping through names, never getting it right. Steve, Dave? No, you're probably Chad. Man, talk about paternal panic.
Picture this, a squirrel dad in fall, utterly swamped. His enormous family decided to go nuts about hoarding, well, nuts. There he is, cheeks crammed, paws overflowing. Meanwhile, his offspring are frolicking, burying half the forest in acorn stashes only to forget where. Squirrel dad's trying to maintain a stash spreadsheet, all while dodging cars and bewildered dogs. It's like meal prep in the midst of a food fight, with more forgetfulness than your average forgetful thing. Absolutely, a fuzzy patriarch overwhelmed by his burly brood of bountiful burrowers.
Speaking of helter-skelter hoarding, do you know who really needs a friend in times of trouble? Those squirrels. But Joe, let's hop over to critters of different stripes making unlikely alliances. There's stories where predators buddy up with their would-be snacks, like that one time a lioness decided to adopt a baby antelope. Whoops, I'm your mom now. There must be some sort of mix-up on the food chain consultancy memo. What's next? A cat and bird sharing a latte. The world's never dull with these animal odd couples, I tell you.
Easily the strangest alliance I've come across was between a mongoose and a cobra. Natural enemies shaken up like a wildlife episode of Frenemies. They'd hang out by this watering hole. Mongoose would have its guard down while Sharptooth the snake just lazied in the sun. Turned their lives into a live-action Jungle Book sitcom. An alliance with more tension than in-laws at Thanksgiving. Proof even natural-born adversaries can hit the pause button on survival mode for a lounging duo selfie.
Oh yeah, there's this goat and tiger duo at a sanctuary I read about. They were buddies until dinner, the tiger's dinner, which was supposed to be the goat. But turns out the goat didn't get the memo and just flat out refused to be a meal. Now they're besties. Nature's unpredictable, Joe, like finding out the cookie you took a bite of was oatmeal raisin, not chocolate chip.
Speaking of cookies masquerading as health food, how about a situation that sounds like it shouldn't have a happy ending but does? Picture it. A cockroach and a crayfish shackled to the tank life, a science lab duo set for a grim fate. But through a daring nighttime escape, they bounce out of there together. The roach, multifaceted antennae twitching with glee. The crayfish, pincers ready for action. They're like the Shawshank critters, busting out of the joint. Their after-dusk escape splashing onto page 1 of the Bug Times and Riverbed Gazette. Even the most unhuggable critters can stir a sympathetic heart when they tag team for liberty.
Dude, you ever heard about the great penguin break from a zoo in Denmark? These little guys were caught on camera waddling down the hall like they owned the place, trying to make a run for the Arctic in the middle of Denmark. It's like they saw Madagascar one too many times and thought, heck, we could do that, just need Kowalski's master plan. The best part? They left a trail of wet footprints. Keep it stealthy, fellas. Ocean's 11? More like Ocean's Penguin.
Those penguins aren't the only crafty escape artists in the animal kingdom. Get this, a clever octopus named Inky pulled a Houdini out of a New Zealand aquarium. This marine marvel slipped out of his enclosure, made it across the floor and down a drain pipe to freedom. Think about that slimy journey to the open ocean. It's like Escape from Alcatraz, only squishier. No bars can hold an 8-armed Houdini with a PhD in escapology. Can you imagine the staff roll call the next morning? Let's see, sharks? Check. Sea turtles? Check. Inky, guys, where's Inky? Cue the face palms.
Switching gears, Joe, let's beam ourselves into the world of tech. Have you seen those smart fridges that can restock themselves? We're living in the future, man. You drink the last soda, and boom, it orders more. Magic. But here's the kicker. What if it goes rogue and keeps ordering kale because it thinks you need a diet? There's no arguing with a fridge that's got your health in mind. The grocery rebellion begins at home.
Rogue health-conscious fridges aside, Simon, imagine how this tech wonders could spoil us. Except here comes Big Brother with his magnifying glass. Smart fridges could be awesome, managing food waste, always keeping cold brew coffee in stock. But let's not gloss over privacy concerns. That fridge takes a peek inside, then so can the folks who thought a Wi-Fi can opener was needed. It could mean tailored grocery lists or an adpocalypse with every door swing. Do we really want our milk preferences leaked faster than a gossip in a small town? Can't say I'm thrilled about trading my snack secrets for convenience.
Talk about a 180, but you know what's wilder than smart fridges? Celeb pastimes, my dude. Did you know that Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, raises pigeons? That's right, the guy who'd take heads off in the ring is out there cooing with his bird buddies. And get this, Johnny Depp collects Barbie dolls. Jack Sparrow and Barbies, now there's a crossover episode I'd pay to see. Celebrities, they're just like us, but with weirder hobbies and a much bigger budget.
So I once got into a pancake art phase. I'm talking breakfast masterpieces. People were flipping out, not just the pancakes. The old grill turned canvas, and I'm like the Picasso of pancake batter. Who knew whipped cream and syrup could double as paint? It's the kind of hobby that bites back, though. Literally. My waistline finally staged an intervention. But every now and then, I'll still whip up a Mona Lisa with a side of bacon.
But Joe, don't you think a tech-powered life strips away the charm of these quirky hobbies? Where's the growth in letting fridges boss us around? Pancake art. Now there's a tech detox, if I've heard one. It's messy, it's silly, and it makes you appreciate a bit of creativity. Are we tweaking life's pleasures into just another LED display of competence? I don't want Alexa judging my flapjack skills. Let's keep some things beautifully, chaotically human. What say you?
Absolutely, Simon. Tech has its place, but some things should stay delightfully analog. There's no app for the satisfaction of nailing that ridiculously floppy pancake flip or that triumphant smudge of paint on your face after a day at the easel. These tactile experiences stretch muscles and neurons we forget we've got. They make life's tapestry pop. And messy, as those splats of batter, together they mean you had the guts to step away from crisp pixels and into the ragged, unpredictable splash zone of life.
So Joe, shifting gears entirely, I stumbled upon the extreme ironing world yesterday. Yes, it's a thing. Folks are pressing their finest shirts on the sides of cliffs, in canoes, even strapped to a parachute mid-dive, because why do a chore when you can turn it into an adrenaline-pumping sport? Out creases, out dullness. Talk about multifunctional multitasking. Makes my once advent to iron socks while watching a sport look like a snooze fest.
Ironing on a cliff? And here I thought ironing was just a way to unwrinkle shirts, not Darwin Awards in waiting. Besides plummeting IQs from death-defying housework, Let's float into space tourism's latest. Yes, space, the final frontier turned vacation spot for the ultra-wealthy. For a modest mountain of cash, you too can buckle up for zero gravity and unparalleled views. But here's the puzzle. Is this astronomical joyride a leap for mankind or just an elite escape pod? Consider this your interstellar weather forecast, from clear skies to starry highs.
Totally. Joe, blasting billionaires into space is cool and all, but what's the everyday Joe or Jane getting from this? Nice for them to sip zero-G pina coladas while the rest of us are down here figuring how to pay rent. Space should be inspiring, not just another playground for the rich. When do the space perks trickle down to us mortals?
Spot on about the big picture, Simon. Let's remember, every satellite selfie from orbit helps refine tech we all use. Think GPS, telecom, even weather predictions. The billionaire joyride spotlight space, but also fuel competition, innovation, and eventually prices drop. It's that classic trope. High-end today, in everyone's living room tomorrow. Satellites once were the stuff of deep pockets. Now they're road trip lifesavers telling us not to drive into a lake. Space tourism? It's the microwave oven story retold. A space-age luxury turned daily bread. Keep the cosmos on speed dial.
I hear you, Joe, but we've got to ask, what happens when AI takes over jobs, even ones we never thought it could? Already, AIs are writing copy, drafting legal documents, even creating art. Where's the line before our human touch becomes, well, optional? A bit freaky, if you ask me. We're racing into tomorrow without a roadmap. Let's ensure we don't turn into the audience for our own lives, eh? Alrighty, folks, that about does it for us today. Big thanks for lending us your ears. Remember to keep things real and a tad messy. It's the human way. We'll be back to lob more wild pitches at you all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Infinite Podcast. Don't miss it. Adios.